Local Architectural Review Board. Call to order. Roll call. Skian.
Present.
Zumbrum.
Present.
Schermeyer. Here. McLean Gross. Gifford.
Present.
O'Brien. I thought she was coming. Maybe she.
She was too, because she had me send her everything out.
Okay. Did everybody who was at the last meeting have time to review the minutes?
Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I think you're muted.
I believe they are accurate.
Okay, that's a motion to
So I will
approve.
make a motion that we accept it.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, I call for a vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We have no unfinished business. So the first case tonight, 438 West Market Street. This has to do with the fascia board at the bay window. Want to come up to the podium? Maybe introduce yourself.
My name is Braden Grove. I need to talk. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I figured with Grove Contractors, and yes, it's our job.
So you wanted to replace the fascia board with pine,
Correct.
if I'm remembering this one correctly. So it's basically it's in-kind replacement. We'd recommend it be replaced with some other material. We even accept composites,
Okay.
like AZIC or whatever, because the pine is not gonna last you.
Mhm.
Like, you know, you put it up and 5 years from now, it'll need replaced again. So, at least that was my thoughts on it, if I'm remembering this case correctly.
Well, I thought too, that's a recommendation.
I mean, you can use pine, but we
Yes.
recommend you.
Okay.
Yeah, which is.
Yeah,
one
no,
of the reasons
I
we-
would prefer composite. I just wasn't sure if you wanted to go with what's existing, that's all. That's the only reason I picked that.
Yeah.
Yeah, existing in form, not necessarily in
You could use
material.
more expensive materials too, like, teak or something like that, or
Like a,
bay or whatever. But, I wouldn't think.
African
that would
mahogany.
last mahogany. Yeah, but no, the composite kind of material, like AZIC or any of those would,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
And it'll look just like wood and it'll last longer, so.
Is that a motion? Mark?
I'll make a motion that, including our recommendation, we accept the proposal submitted.
And I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, I call for a vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
aye.
Ayes have it.
Is that all right? All right.
Thank you very much.
No.
It's the series of row homes right across from the William Penn North parking lot.
Okay. Yeah, I think there was a picture of the deck, or the existing.
Okay, the next case, 211 South Beaver Street.
Good evening. I'm Steve from Royal Square. And we were proposing to mostly just do a cosmetic. We feel like the structure's okay on the deck. We're going to place the faceboards and the railing, and we're going to use a Trex product for the deck boards. The faceboard will be like a pressure treated product. And I think I put on there, we're going to use a 2x2 baluster instead of what's there now. I heard you mentioned if there was pictures. I did bring some pictures.
Great.
Is this only visible from
Because
the alley?
it's not a baluster now. It's some kind of,
So it's off the L, off the back of the southernmost house, I guess?
Because I'm looking at Beaver Street, it's not visible from Beaver.
it's on the rear.
I should probably use it, you know,
Hi, how are you?
Okay,
Oh, yes.
that section of row homes.
okay.
Yeah, there's no stairs to it or anything. It's just like a 4x12.
Yeah.
Almost like a landing, to be honest
I'm
with you.
trying to see if it's really visible.
You
So
can,
you're
you
gonna-
can kind of make it out from the cross street.
Yeah, I guess you can see it from Princess Street.
Yeah.
You know, if you're technical about it. So.
You're gonna lose the aluminum wrapping on the.
Yeah, because that's causing
fascia.
trouble. That's where the trouble's coming from.
That's why we
Because it's-
discourage it,
Naturally.
yeah.
It's just it's collecting all the water in there, and then obviously it doesn't
Make a
dry.
note, everybody.
It deteriorates. Well, if it was done properly, but it's not sealed off that the water can,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, see, our problem is we can't go out and inspect the installation of every house.
Yeah,
So
so
it's-
there will be no more vinyl or aluminum clad,
Okay.
if you want to call it. It'll just be a pressure treated baseboard.
And then end up being painted.
We can. It'll probably be a little bit until the pressure treat
Sure.
gets dried out, and then we can
Sure.
paint it brown like it is now.
Yeah, what's kind of there now isn't original. There were other ways of making these porches more, like usually they were typically, you had 1.25 inch square balusters. And there was a top rail cap and a plow base rail cap that the balusters fit into. I know there are PVC. Myers used to sell product that would replicate it in wood, but they'd also replicated that in PVC. It was off the shelf stuff. I don't have the particular profile names. That would be more authentic, but it's kind of replacing something that's not
Inauthentic.
And yeah,
authentic anyway.
yep. It's better than what's on there.
Yeah, the railing system you're talking about is not, it's not the pressure treated kind with the applied, where the balusters are applied to the face of the railing in the board, because that's very,
Yeah, well, it's going to be like your typical 2x4 rails with the balusters, the 2x2 ballast attached to that.
They're everywhere.
I know they're everywhere. We typically discourage the approval of them. I mean, if there were houses on Princess Street, you wouldn't see this. So that's why my dilemma with it, yeah. But there are not houses on Princess Street, so you see it.
Princess patent was still there.
What's this?
If the Princess patent was still there, you would never see it.
Right. So it's, it's,
It's really only visible from the old post office.
yeah. And whatever the board feels about it.
It's really a question of the application, not as much of the materials.
Yeah, I think I know what Mark's referring to.
If it could be done in a
If
way.
we could do it in that matter, would that, and still use a tube,
I
like
think
a
it would be
2x2,
highly
inch and a half, inch and a half.
preferable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that the profile at Myers, I could sketch it out with your bottom piece is plowed on an angle, and
Yeah.
then the balusters are cut on an angle and they fit into that, and then the top is, there's a cap that is,
Yeah, I've
riveted
installed
so
those
that
over the
it-
years.
yeah.
You just don't see it as much. but
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a big deal,
Okay,
so.
that would look better.
It would look more authentic.
And then the balusters would be like, I think the balusters that fit into that profile are like 1.25 inches. I think they sell them too. And that
Yeah.
would look more authentic And we've certainly, we've approved those, like I can think of one a number of years ago was on Pine Street, face Pine,
Okay.
requested. But they replace it that way. But yeah, we that would, I think, would look a little better.
Okay,
Yeah, and if that's no big deal to you.
that's
Okay.
no big deal to me.
I'd make a motion to approve with those changes.
Okay, I will move that we approve the application with the changes that the railing system be wish I had the profiles, off the shelf, profiled rail cap and plowed rail base with 1¼ inch square balusters in PVC or equivalent exterior compatible wood material. How's that? Not pine.
Jargony enough.
What's this?
It's jargony enough.
Yeah. I don't know if they manufacture it on pressure treated or not, probably not. I think Myers had one that was a PVC.
You got all that?
I wish I had
I
the
got most
profile
of it.
numbers. I would.
So,
There used to be molding and millwork company and they were sold to Metri or something like that.
railing system to be profiled.
Yeah, it's off the shelf, railing, cap, baluster, base rail system.
And it could be either wood or
You
PVC.
give you wood or PVC, yeah. Probably PVC is preferable, or ASIC or whatever. ASIC, I guess, is PVC.
You know what we're
Composite
looking
material.
for.
Yep.
Yeah. I could sketch it out, but yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't have the numbers.
You can see if you can find it in
Yeah.
composite.
But you know what we're talking about.
Yep, I sure do.
Yeah.
I'll second that. You made a motion?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, I call for a vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Two.
Taylor?
That ends the regular business. So, Becky. Your other business.
My other business. So I'm here on behalf of 1 South George Street, brought the letter of support that I drafted. Just to refresh everybody's memory, this is the building on the corner, that was the former Hartman building. And the jewelry store was in it. And when they purchased it in the 60s, they chopped off the top 4 floors and put the aluminum siding on it. And then I think in 2008, I don't remember the name of the owner, they added the 2 floors that are there now. And now Royal Square owns it and they're working on a rehabilitation project that would like to use tax credits. And when we went to the state to apply for tax credits, we found out that the building is currently listed as not contributing to the historic district because of the loss of those upper floors. So I'm writing a determination of eligibility to try to convince them that it should contribute to the historic district. And I'm asking for HARB to send a letter of support, which is a little bit unorthodox with the determination of eligibility. Hopefully it doesn't turn them off. But I don't think there's anyone in York who would say this building isn't important, so I just want them to know that there is local support for this building.
Okay.
I think academically, yes, it has lost a ton of integrity, of course, but it's a landmark building on the square. It's been continuously occupied with anchor retailers. I think the loss of integrity kind of shows the evolution of the community and that kind of thing, so hopefully they agree.
Yeah, and I guess it could be argued that it really didn't lose
How many
integrity.
were added the
Because
last
it's been kind of, I mean,
2?
Yeah.
20 years ago, you could have argued that, but then it's
went
been
to
kind of
6,
sort of
then 7,
recreated.
then down
Yes.
to 3, then 5.
SHPO felt that it wasn't recreated
It's been on a journey.
accurately enough.
And the only reason that happened, there was some spec developer out of Maryland right before the Great Recession did it, and then it sat for a while, did it on spec. And because he had talked to different architectural firms in town, and I remember a discussion with him, and I'm assuming the only reason that the top 2 floors weren't put back is because with the construction type, you couldn't make it function with the codes at the time.
Oh, so it was like an egress issue?
And the
Is that the-
construction type, well,
the perimeter
back of the
ratio or
building is
something, or-
egress,
Yeah.
which it wasn't. You know, there was only like one stair and a fire escape, and I think there's 2 stairs in
There's
there now,
two inside
right, which
now.
take up a lot of
Right.
the
Floor
usable
space.
space in the building, so
Yeah.
that had to be added. But I think the construction type, which is a type 3 or 3A, 3B or whatever, and again, this was the code 20 years ago, so I'm thinking of code now, but you can only go up to 5 floors.
Is that a floor area ratio issue?
It's a construction type to number of stories allowed
Yeah.
for the construction. And they may have permitted it as either a 5A or 5B, which is ordinary construction. It's probably a 3A or 3B, but that also may only allow you to go up to 5 floors. I remember that was an issue because he wanted to go back to all 7.
That's correct, yeah.
Really?
And there-
That's really
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
With
Was
the
there any
application.
correspondence with the state or anything when those floors were added, or was it just let's pop them back on and make it look like the rest of the building historically, or?
It wasn't a tax credit project, so it would have just.
No,
stopped at
yeah.
this level. Yeah.
It wasn't a tax credit project and codes would not probably have permitted you to do it at that time. Yeah.
And I will tell you, I had the privilege of sitting in with the design team and the project team a couple of months ago, and they are talking about making sure that the evolution of the building's story is told in the final redevelopment. They're actually thinking about putting, showcasing the story in the elevator, along the elevator walls, that shows you the different elevations and how the building has transformed over the
Is
years.
the owner of Tutoni still in it?
No,
No, it's Royal Square now.
Oh, okay, Royal Square owns it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are they looking or doing with it?
Invisible Key Hotel, and there's an LOI for a restaurant space on the first floor
Because the owner
already.
of Tony's wanted to do a
Yeah.
boutique hotel in it.
Correct, and she unfortunately did not get the proper permits. There's actually showers and bathrooms in the sleeping room.
Oh, she started working on it without the
Oh,
permit.
it's there.
Okay.
Correct.
What a cluster.
Yeah.
Shocking.
And there's literally the bathrooms and several of the rooms are in the bedrooms.
It's like no door.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have to do a complete redo of all of the work that the previous owner did. So to that effect, I'd like to make a motion to approve this letter of support for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah. I don't think, there was some question about whether we could do that, but I don't think we have any issue that we can certainly say.
So I can speak on that if you want me
Okay.
to. I had checked with our solicitor and I told her that they're coming to the meeting and she said it would be a good idea if you took a vote.
Okay. Okay.
So I motioned.
Okay.
I'll second Sarah's motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, I call for a vote.
Well, hang on a second. I'm just. I just want to think about this for a couple more minutes.
Absolutely, take your time.
Yeah. You know, I have no question about the historic nature of the building. I do have a problem with the way we're approaching it. I suppose because I'm in a quandary and I trust the rest of the board here, I can go either way. So if the majority of the board is in favor of doing this, then I don't have a strong objection. Something about this, the appearance of what we're doing here just makes me a little bit uneasy.
I think the only valid argument we've had to try to retain elected officials' interest in what we do is that we dangle the carrot of the potential to support tax credit initiatives, economic development initiatives, because of the retention of the district and the continuing Historic Architectural Review Board process in safeguarding the district. If we don't support it, I think part of our argument goes away.
But this is not currently considered a contributing member. Even though it's within the geography.
Well, you can probably explain that from the,
They'd still
from the
have to get
preservation.
HARB approval for anything they did to it, which is kind of the tricky part. They're in the
I'm
HARB
sorry,
district.
say that again, please.
So even though the state considers it non-contributing, it's within the HARB district, so they still have to come before the HARB board to get approval for what they do on the exterior.
Right, and HARB has.
Okay.
And they did,
All right.
when they added the stories, hard to prove that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And HARB has reviewed proposals on this many times that I recall.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty certain for the fact that you couldn't, the codes, it would not allow away with a construction type and preserving the lower 3 floors of going to 7.
Okay.
Some of your new apartment buildings, we work on some that do it. They can do a podium style building where you can do 2 floors of a non-combustible construction, like 1 or 2 construction, and then you do a 3-hour horizontal fire barrier, which would be the same as a firewall, but it's this way instead of this way, and then you can do up to 4 floors of
It would look
Type
like the
5
top of Colonial. then
construction
after that.
above it.
Yeah.
But that probably at the time, that wasn't something that was well known that you could do within the codes, and I don't even know if you could do it with the way the base of that building is constructed.
Yeah. And the cost.
Yeah, the base of that building and retaining it still would not have been a type 2 construction. You would have had to completely disassemble it.
Simply put, to restore the building to what is technically the most historic version of it, which is the 7th-floor brick building, is
right.
illegal.
Right.
I want to go on just
And that's the problem.
little rant and a little tangent. So at the turn of the century, every federal department or program that did not have a home went into what they called the kitchen sink cabinet, and that was the Department of the Interior. And so since the turn of the century, historic preservation has been housed in the kitchen sink department because they didn't know where else to put it. And no offense to the National Park Service, but we've had park rangers guiding and leading who are experts in conservation, but not preservation policy in this country for the last 125 years.
And is that why it's been so screwed up since the second Bush administration? Because that's about when it started to all go.
I'd like to say, and so
Interesting.
we have all of these old dilapidated buildings that have not been put into productive use, mainly because a lot of our preservation standards are so strict and stringent.
Right.
And we have actually, as we just stated, outlawed and made it illegal, right, to rebuild the heart of our communities.
Right.
And so, like I said again, I just would like to make a motion to approve this. I think had the Department of the Interior not taken on historic preservation and it landed in the Department of Economic Development or the Department of Housing at the federal level, we'd be in a much different position with most of our historic building stock in this country.
There used to be a time, and I'm old enough to know, adaptive reuse and working in it in Baltimore in the 80s and everything else. It was, if you were sensitive to the context, it was easy to do and they would encourage you to do it. And it was that time, it was around 2000, the second Bush administration, that all of a sudden it became next to impossible. It's like they don't, and the one project you consulted on with us.
Well, that's what I'm
other ones I can think of, they almost, look at the History Center. You guys both worked for Warehouse. And that was one where, like Joan expressed, and you go down for the hearing and it's like, well, maybe that's not an appropriate use for this building. They almost don't want you to reuse an old building. They almost discourage it and make it impossible because do they not want to give you the tax credits?
And I'm a historic preservationist at heart, and historic preservation is critically important, but so is the economic vitality. And I would much rather the building be put into productive use. And obviously this corner property has been a struggle the last 7 or 8 years. And so anything that HARB can do to help put that building and set it on a trajectory for success, I think we should be doing.
If this would have been the 1980s, you'd have gotten the tax credits and this wouldn't be an issue.
Right.
Correct.
And asking for a lot of support from HARB is completely unorthodox with this type of application.
Yeah.
If it was a grant application or something like that, it'd be different. I don't know that they'll even consider it, but I just want them to know that the community feels this building is important and they're kind of gatekeeping by not
Right.
allowing us to,
Right.
to preserve it.
Yeah.
Right, and historic preservation, this country has been so focused on the built environment and not necessarily the stories and the experiences and the sense of place that our historic architecture provides.
Right.
And so restoring this building to productive use, having visitors from across the country be able to stay there and come downstairs and dine is so critically important to the overall cultural fabric of downtown York. I just think it's a no-brainer.
And all those buildings evolve and change over time, and this building is certainly, I mean, you're right, it's a story of how it does. And, the base of the building is still there.
Yeah, I think
And it's
anyone-
been restored and recreated as close to as modern codes would allow at the time.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think if anyone from 1850 was dropped into the square, they would say, "Oh, that's the Hartman Building." Like,
Yeah.
they would
Yeah.
still know.
Right.
Correct.
It's just shorter.
And back at that time, it was 6 floors with a hip
cupola on
roof,
top.
and then the 7th was added sometime around the turn of the 20th or 20th century.
Yeah. Well, and as far as I know, there's at least some material integrity from the original 2.5, 3-story federal style home that was standing there when Hartman bought it. So
Yeah.
And the letter is great, Becky, and I'm happy to edit the one from Downtown Inc. later, but we may put in here that when the additional floors were added in 2008, that it was prohibited by code to go back to the original nature, because
I'm
that's
gonna add
not
that.
reflected in any of
Yeah,
the
I didn't
support
know
letters.
that. So even if you decide not to sign a letter, that information is key. I'm gonna put that in the application that literally we could not, because SHPO said, National House is completely reconstructed.
Correct, yep.
And they said, oh, well, that meets our standards for restoration. So to say, well, we couldn't meet your standards for restoration because of code.
Correct. Yep.
I think it's very helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
We have a motion and a second.
Did someone second?
Second.
Blake second.
Blake,
Yeah,
Blake,
Blake
yeah,
second.
Blake second. Yeah. So I think we should sign it. I mean, there is no other mechanism locally for this advocacy. So I think we almost have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Historic York that's who I would have gone to.
They don't really.
I could ask the History Center, but they're not really present.
They don't really do that. Historic York really doesn't
Yeah.
function anymore. I mean, yeah. We don't have a consultant, so yeah.
So is there any further discussion?
Do you feel better?
If not, I call for a vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? And you want me to sign mine?
And just to clarify, is everyone comfortable with her editing the letter to include a caveat that when the building, the upper floors were added most recently, that they could not go up 7 floors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's really necessary.
It may not be necessary, but I think it would be compelling to the SHPO.
If SHPO is hinging their
As long as you put an
disapproval,
application, that's
yeah.
great. And you can,
Yeah, if they're hinging their disapproval on the last 2 floors not being built, then it's
It was restored as close as
that
permissible
the
by
objection?
code at the time.
I believe so,
Correct.
yeah.
That's
correct.
the nut of the.
That's the main issue that they had, is
Yeah.
that it's not fully restored to the full original
Yes,
height,
they said,
right?
oh, well, because my argument when I first submitted was, well, the aluminum cladding came off, so we're back to
Yeah.
contributing to the historic district. And they said, no, it's not the full 7 stories.
Yeah, okay.
And I didn't know that was a code issue.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and for what it's worth, this has nothing to do with the letter or anything along those lines, but there was historically a 5-story building right across the corner in the square that was Mr. Goodridge's
Yes.
Center Hall. And I believe, I was thinking either Sam or Jamie may have jumped in when we were talking about this via email. But Hartman made it 6 stories because he did not want a black man to have the tallest building in the square. So
it's just poetic justice.
hopefully now that it's back down to the height of Center
and
Hall.
the
So.
rumor is, I don't know if
Amen.
it's true that he added the 7th floor when the Colonial Hotel was built because he didn't want, the black chambermaids looking down on him from
Oh,
the
I didn't know
7th
that
floor of the
part.
Colonial.
Yeah.
Add that in the.
Ooh, that's going in the tour.
Yeah, I heard that was the rumor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Schaefer or whatever used to tell that one, so I don't know if it's true,
I'll
but
add that too.
Yeah.
Hartman certainly has that
I would be
reputation.
hesitant to add that.
Yeah, I wouldn't throw that in, but see if you can get Dylan Bauer to put that on the plaque in the elevator.
Yeah. We'll add that to the elevator illustration.
And as far as building on top of these buildings, this is York County and everybody is very cheap and they always were. And speaking of building and on Hartman building on top of a house and, that existed before and the foundations. And I remember when Jan was doing, One West there, and looking at those drawings, that department store, that Bears department store, there were at least 7 buildings, including alley buildings and everything else. If you look at the old pictures of the 2-story building, which was similar to the Newswangers one diagonally across the square that Bears department store sort of started in, they never really took that down.
Yeah.
They built on top of it. So that Chicago-style department store, including the back buildings,
Yeah.
are built on top of.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think the drawings even pointed out the show window, the display window that had been added in the side of that 2.5-story building, federal building or colonial building, was to be preserved. They didn't take that out.
Yeah.
So it was
You
like,
can still tell so easily.
yeah. So yeah, all of this stuff is like, yeah.
And I did use Bears. I basically used the whole square, and I used the photos from like the early photos and then the photos from the 50s and said, look, none of this retains integrity if you're saying it has to look like 1850.
Right.
None of it looks like
Right.
1850.
Right. Right.
So hopefully that's enough.
Right.
I don't know what they'll say. But.
I mean, it certainly is contributing to the fabric of the square and the district.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, well, thank you.
All right.
So am I not signing this?
Yes.
Well, I can put, I'm definitely gonna put the code information in the application. It's up to you if you want it in the letter of support too, because it's, it's supposed to be your words, so it's up to you if you want it in there.
Yeah, I want those in.
Okay, do you have a digital signature? If I send you a PDF, could you add a digital signature?
Can I?
You can if you have one.
We just voted.
I can make you one, Dennis, if you need to. Sign a blank piece of paper, and I can.
Screenshot.
Yeah, if you just sign a blank piece of paper, we can
Send
figure
it
that
to
out.
my home email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Do
that
we-
the one I sent it to before? Is it-
Yeah.
Do we want to cite the provision from the 2008? It wasn't BOCA at that point, was it? It was ICC.
Yeah, it was ICC.
Yeah.
We'd have to go back to the 2000. It was probably the 2006 code at the time. It was enforced.
I don't think
So if I
I have to
say,
go back and look at it.
just say code wouldn't allow.
I'm
it to.
pretty
Yeah.
certain yes, the code would not, due to the construction type of the original building and the additions, the code would not allow reconstruction to beyond 5 stories.
Okay.
At that time.
Well, it's the same thing now.
Okay.
Becky, do you recall the?
You have to take it completely down, do a podium, and then put stories on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you happen to remember which SHPO reviewer gave you the response?
It was Alex O'Gorman, and he or she, I actually don't know, is kicking it to the DOE committee. So now it will be reviewed by, I'm not exactly, multiple people from the SHPO from
boy.
different departments.
Okay.
And I've been seeing very conservative reviews from the DOE committee lately.
Yeah.
So
It's only gotten worse.
it's good. Which I did not think would happen, but it did.
Are they prepared to go ahead with this even if they can't get the tax credits?
The last conversation I had with them was that the project hinges on tax credits.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think it would be like a pretty substantial change to scope or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, which I'm also putting in the application. You're not supposed to do that. They're not supposed to consider the economic impact, but
Yeah.
I think they should know.
I mean, we were
Critically important because otherwise it's gonna sit empty for another decade.
I mean, we had the nickel and dime square footage of exposed industrial ceiling in Fox.
Yep.
So it was just a back and forth with them at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, not surprising.
Yeah, it's just getting worse. So, okay, so I will edit this and then send it to your home email, and then will you be able to add a signature? Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to see everybody.
Motion to adjourn. I don't know if you need one, but.
Why is this